Hello and welcome to May 2023's Perceptionary card reading. My name is Emily Baker. I'm the creator of the Perceptionary cards. These are cards that I've created myself. So you won't find them on places like Etsy or Amazon or places like that because I don't sell them on there. Okay, so they're quite specialized cards because of that as well. So I do a reading each month. If you've been subscribing to me, thank you very much. As well, don't keep me as a little secret. Hopefully, love to hear your feedback as well. For those of you who haven't seen my Perceptionary cards, they're very brightly coloured cards. So that's an example of one. That's an example. And again, because these haven't got any writing on them, they can go any which way round as well. So you're going to find out during the course of this little video how they actually work as well. And if you would like a pack, please see below, because in the description I will put my contact details in and where you can actually get hold of the cards as well. So I'm just shuffling the pack. They are quite a large pack, so I tend to hold them at the bottom. I do show people how to shuffle them as well, and they kind of go, oh yes, no, I'm fine, I've got a large hand span, and they go, these are large, aren't they? And I went, yes, that's why I tend to have them in the portrait stance, not in the landscape stance. By the way, that is portrait, that is landscape. Okay. Simply because I know that's not terminology sometimes gets used a lot these days. Actually, you would think with social media it would do, because a lot of people take videos, and you do them in the landscape version rather than in the portrait scape version. Anyway, enough of all of that. Gosh, there's a lot of communication coming up today. So I'm just fanning out the cards. I've given them a shuffle. I'm just going to pick out a card randomly, put that to one side, putting the rest of the pack to one side. So when you get to see it, will be the first time I get to see it as well. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know if we've had this card before, but may have done. Right. So what I'm looking for now is just something that makes me, which way round makes me feel comfortable in wanting to talk about this card, what it is that's bringing it all up, which way does it feel like, maybe that way. So I quite like it when people don't go for the obvious, okay, and they do go for much more of the landscape version, because actually it's quite interesting when you do. That is actually really interesting that way around. Now I'm just going to pull the card a little bit closer to you, and it will look completely different to where I have it over here, as you can tell. Okay, so I'm just going to pull it back that way. I'm just going to have a little bit closer to you. I know if I turn this card around, the colours are going to be different to what because I'm viewing what you actually see as well. And I know that the colours are going to be different, and the imagery actually does change as well. So hence why I'm not turning the card around and having a look at myself. Although I do. I want to go for that version. I want to go for that way around. Okay. All that I'm doing is just having a quick look to see if there's anything else. Then there's a couple of other things that I can see on there. Okay. What I tend to look at is I'm looking at colours, obviously, because you can't dismiss the colours. And I'm also looking at just seeing what is cropping up. Now, the thing that I can actually see is this little thing here, which to me is like the fish jumping out of water. May we are in that month where it is about still springtime, really, because we haven't had the summer equinox, so we're not kind of into summer. And if May is anything like April, April has been cold and wet. So let's hope that the fish jumping out of the water is kind of saying, you know what, let's bring on the sunshine. So let's say that it's warming everything up as well. The other thing that attracted me was that I saw something up here, but I'll come to that later on. So the feeling that I'm now getting with the colours, it is about communication. And I know I said that while I was actually shuffling the cards. Communication. Mercury's in retrograde. Need I say more? Mercury, for those who don't follow the stars and the planets, and trust me, I don't really, and I am no astrologer. I confess I am not an astrologer. But it's just things that I've picked up over the years. Mercury is about communication in one form or another. So that may be the written word, it may be technological, it may be it may be telephones, computers, it may be letters that you get sent or not sent that should be sent. So when everything, and it's talking to one another as well. So you may find when during this period when they talk about Mercury being in retrograde, basically everything kind of goes a little pear-shaped. All right, so that's what that is all about. When everything is going straight forward, like all the rest of the other planets, everything runs tickety-boo. So communication is not running tickety-boo, but everything else is tickety-boo. With this one, I'm getting kind of like emotions, but I'm also getting this kind of energy from this card as well. And it's not just because of the red in it, but it is this kind of feeling of bursting forth. It's this feeling of kind of like, oh, I want to sit up straight. I want to go for things. It's exciting. There's an excitement about this card of not knowing, but wanting to go for things as well. And I think we're going to find that in this month of May. It's kind of as though don't hold back. Right, well, I'm looking at this kind of like turquoise. There's a lot of this kind of blue-green colour. I call that turquoise. Now, some may say it's green-blue or more blue than green or more green than blue, whichever way around you want to see it. For me, the green, let's just talk about the two colours, the greens. The green for me in the spectrum of things starts off as new growth, just like a tree. Okay, so the leaves are light in colour, aren't they? So it's young, springtime, learning to grow, getting the sap in, and as the leaves grow older, so does the greens get darker. Yes, so then comes in the wisdom, and then as we progress into autumn, it's about sharing that wisdom and letting it go. So that's how I tend to see my greens. When it gets to being a really dark green, we're then talking about healing, all right? Whether it's here, so round here, this is about wisdom, okay? So that green there is about wisdom. This lighter green, and even this with a bit of yellow in it, that is about the new growth. So we got the new growth, and that new growth is coming from the wisdom of needing some more information, perhaps. And I think that we will be searching for this. And actually, so exciting. It's just suddenly popped through. Look at this. Right, okay. I'm hoping you can see it. Please let me know if you can. But around here, it looks like a little fairy. And there's its wings there and the wing in the background there. Lovely. And it's riding, or if you want to see it as a water sprite even, or the fairy riding its... for this fairy, a fish or whatever animal this is, and it can go through the air, and it's flying through with the fairy on the back of it. So it's very much as though there's going to be a bit of harmony going on. There's going to be people helping each other out, people not necessarily using, but actually using their skills to promote each other. Okay, can I put it in that positive way that we'll be helping each other out, promoting each other, helping each other, communicating with each other, and actually helping each other to grow and to nourish as well. My favourite word this year so far, in fact, I've got two. One of them is synergy and one of them is nourishment. So if I use the word nourishment, nourishing, I'm not just talking about food, I'm talking about the soul, I'm talking about the brain, I'm talking about the whole body being nourished, so that extrabantly you that's not really a word, but that you can actually increase your wealth as well, because when you're happy, your wealth increases as well. In whatever way that you see your wealth, can I just point that out as well? So it's not necessarily monetary at all. It can be about life itself. So we're just looking at the wealth of ourselves as well. And maybe for a lot of people that we may find that wealth is the helping out of others, and it gives us great fulfillment, purpose, and that may be also coming through in the month of May as well. And for some people it may be because this is coming forward, it's leaping forward. You may find that for some people that it's a new experience, and so that they're finding a new purpose, a new direction to go in, and one that's exciting. I still feel this excitement going on. A couple of other things that have cropped up just while I was saying that. There's a person here, and it looks like they're clothed because it's kind of like the mouth is covered. Again, that would be about communication. I hate to point this one out. But if I just pull it a bit closer, you can just about see the eye, forehead and head, and it's coming down here, and this is almost like a scarf going around them, muffling their speak, holding back but watching. Okay, so there you may find that some people are holding back and they're not saying what's on their mind yet. It's not quite the right time. They're looking at everything that's going on, or they may be looking at what you're doing and not really commenting, even though you're wanting the feedback. But they'll be holding back and just kind of going, I'm going to wait and see. Just let me, almost like as though they're biting their tongue. So it's quite interesting, that one. So have a look out for that as well in May, of perhaps some people just biting their tongue and just kind of, you know what, I'm not going to comment on this. Not yet. It's not quite right. You may, and that may be friends of yours, it may be to do with business as well. Can I just say that? Some people may be holding back on their viewpoints about certain things that are said or done through the news or anything like that. Okay. The other thing that I'm also getting is, this is quite an interesting figure here. Some of you were going, thank goodness you spotted that. But also just down here as well. And I feel as though this is very much metamorphic. Thank you. I was about to put in a few extra letters there that didn't really exist. So metamorphic, in that I feel as though this is the kind of the coming from period. It's almost as though, I'm bursting through this flower or the sack or however you want to see it, and coming forward. And that's given me my energies and my purpose, and I'm just seeing that as the life force coming up. And you haven't missed that life force. If you see yourself as this angel here, or this fairy or wood nymph or water sprite, or however you want to see it, I do feel that is where I would like to put us, to be honest. It's full of possibilities and adventure. And I know that I've mentioned adventure before in my previous videos as well, because I'm thinking back a few months ago, if not last month or the month before. Adventure keeps on coming up because it's very much as though I'm going forth, and it's about having that courage, to let go and to move on is courageous to do at any time of your life, whether you're young, and I do mean at 5 or 6, whether you're much older in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, and even into more older ages such as 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It is quite a courageous thing to do, and I'm hearing much more of people who are in their 70s and 80s moving house, and that's quite a courageous thing to do. It stresses out a lot of people who are a lot younger to move house, and you think, why do you want to do that? But it's, there's everybody has a reason for moving houses. Everybody has a reason for moving and changing things as well. So don't think that because they have changed, you have to change. You don't have to. Now, while I'm looking at this card, something else has cropped up. And it is, some of you may go, oh, that's a bit scary. Actually, I'm not seeing it in that way. I'm seeing it much more in a fun way as well. Who has seen Aladdin with the filmed version of Aladdin? Okay, so not quite. I don't think it's actually called Aladdin. It's called something else. And I've forgotten the actor's name, both of them. but I know I saw it on something like Amazon or whatever. Anyway, so a fairly recent film. And I just suddenly saw, oh gosh, it's gone again. Oh no, it's there. So what I saw was this kind of like a genie figure coming out. And there's a torso and there's the head, and it looks like it's screaming, but for me, I just went, boo! It's more like that. It's kind of like, ha, here I am, surprise. I'm kind of going to whatever is here, hi. Now, this is quite interesting because if we look at the fairy, they're aiming for that. If we look at the genie, it's aiming for that. So let's have a look to see what this is, shall we? Because that, I think, is what we need to be looking at, because that's what we're striving at. What is it that we're aiming for? It's something that's much more stable. This doesn't feel stable anymore, okay? So this is where we're moving from. We're moving from the instability of things, wherever that may be, whether that be at home, at work, or economically, or whatever that may be, okay, to moving on to something a bit more stable. Now, when I'm looking at that, to me, that looks as though I've either got a camel or a horse, legs, head, back, okay, so it looks like it's precariously perched on top of a very pointy thing, and actually it's showing its rear end to the genie who is up here. Okay, so that's the genie's head there, because it's got a pointy ear, or a gin, and that's a J-I-N, by the way, not G-I-N, the drink, it's a J-I-N. For those who know what a gin is the same as a genie, so just point that one out. It seems very precarious, but actually it's quite stable. All right, so if we're looking at this here, but it's got its back end, so it's kind of like saying, do you know what? I hear your noise, I hear you, but I'm carrying on. This is where I'm at. I'm making myself stable for you to come to me. Okay. Right, I'm just going to turn the card around, because when we turn the card around, we get to see different things. And the reason why I turned it around this way is because I saw a face over here. And I thought, oh, that looks like the jolly kind of baby from Ghostbusters, the first film. Do you remember that? That kind of like the Michelin baby kind of thing. So it kind of it reminded me of that. But it felt as though this way, it just didn't feel as comfortable. This feels much more on the ethereal level. This feels much more as though I'm kind of walking into an area where, if you were to say to me, Emily, describe what's going on, I see what looks like either a pumpkin here on its side, there's a baby instead, and there's a lady looking over the baby to make sure that everything's all right. And then you've got some overseer with a red scarf on, overlooking all of that. So for me, this felt very much as though it's about care, it's about nourishment again. Different sort of a feeling though. To having it this way around, this is much more exciting and inviting, invigorating. Let's go for it, you know, let's not hold back. And look, you know, if we look at the horse is actually, doesn't look so stable over here if we just look at the front two legs, but actually the back legs are actually standing on the grass, so it's all right. It's been fed, it's been watered, it's been nourished. If we turn it around this way, this card feels as though, well, I'm not too sure what's going to go on. I know you're looking after it and I'm looking after it. This being you. Okay, this being you, cocooned in, coming out of the cocoon, coming out of the pumpkin, if you like, being reborn again as well. So it is about nourishment again, but in a slightly different way. It's looking at being sustainable for yourself, making sure you've got all of the right nutrients. And if I'm looking at nourishment, I just don't mean food, okay? I do mean in all the aspects that we need. And in a way, that's what she's holding. She's holding in the energies, making sure that we're okay. So let's have a look at this way. So again, even if we go back to this way, I would still say it's about nourishment. I would still say it's about, we have like a little boy popping out, or girl overlooking kind of like cabbage leaf and looking out and kind of go, oh, am I safe? Yes, no, you're perfectly safe. You're in a nice little cocoon area. Everything will be fine. Turn it around this way. feels as though I've turned everything upside down. It's the best way to describe it, really. It just didn't feel comfortable to me when I looked at it, and for some of you it may do, and you'll be probably looking at it kind of go, oh, but this is what I can see in this, this and this. So that's that one. And the last way around is that as well. Funny. The thing that came into my head where I'm just going, funny, is the sleeping giant. Ho, ho, ho. And it does sort of feel like that. Do you know, in the UK at the moment, we've kind of got these adverts for 3 where they have these little blue robots. That's what that reminds me, lying on its side. Kind of get, yeah, sort of falling asleep. Thank you very much. But again, it's very much this ethereal feel, very fantasy land, very much not based on what we have here going on at the moment, that we can actually put our hands to it as well. So that's the very merry month of May. I think for me, this is definitely the best way round. I feel that it's exciting. I think we're looking out for opportunities, and I don't think that the opportunities are going to walk away from us. I do think they're going to be standing there. They may feel as though they're not opening up to you. They may feel as though you're kind of hitting your head against a brick wall, but really it's not. It's a case of that the horses, if we see the horse as being the opportunity, the horse is just taking its stance and looking around, making sure it's clocked who's coming, who's not coming, things like that. So it's working on a different level to you altogether as well. So that's the very merry month of May. I wish you all the best of luck. My name again is Emily Baker, and I created this Perceptionary card as well as 49 others. So please do join me next month when we talk about what happens in the month of June. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and have a look out for all of the other things that I do. Have a look on my website as well, because I do talk about cards within the podcast that I do called the Spirit Guiders. I look forward to seeing you next month. You all take care. Enjoy. Let me know. But again, this month, just as a quick recap, it is about nourishment, looking after those around you as they will look after you. It's that energy exchange, and look out for communication as well. Take care now, and I'll see you all next month. Bye bye now.